Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, and the IYT. Let's get right into the SPY on the daily, weekly, monthly time frames, and we use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So at this point, we're still above the 20 MA. That's what we've been talking about for the last week or so. We're coming off this bullish consolidation, and we're trying to break out. Friday's jobs report, we got above the all-time high, but we have no follow-through. We talked about follow-through come Friday and Monday, and we're still not seeing it. Today we have a little bit of a doji candle. Let's see if that's a reversal sign for the market and see if we start heading down. We're looking for a close below the 20 MA, and if we start cracking, I'm going to say about the 215 level or so, maybe this low pivot in here, or the gap fill that was a couple weeks ago that was filled, or a couple days ago that was filled. We're looking that area right around 214.89. We crack below that, I think we're on to the 50 MA, and then possibly to the 200 MA if it really starts to come in. On the upside now, we could still head to about 220, 223, 225 in that area as well. But I still want to see some a little more volume and a little better push up than this. I want to see some conviction. It's just light volume. 51 million on the day is just not enough for me to continue up. Let's look at the weekly. Same thing. I want to see it close above this candle. Then we'll reevaluate this chart and see if this thing can go higher. If this does not close above this by the end of the week, Friday, then we're going to see if we could get more downside. Again, I think we could come down into the 210 area, and then ultimately go right back to the 204, and then we'll reevaluate this chart and see, or wait for the next setup to see if we're going to move down or up. But right now, there's really no patterns other than 6 weeks up. We're in the 7th week of floating, volume's light, and just no conviction. I still think it's suspect that this thing can pull back, and when it does, it's going to be vicious. Monthly chart, same thing, tried to pop up. Now on a monthly close, of course, at the end of the month, we'll see where this candle closes. But I want to see it closing above this good green, green bar. That will tell me a little bit more. But again, we're at the highs. This pattern on the daily is trying to break up. This thing, after this great consolidation, this thing should be ripping right now, and it's not. So I'm a little bit concerned. Let's get into the Qs. Qs, same thing. We didn't even have a pattern. It's just kind of floating up above the MAs, and pretty good spacing here too, where we should be hugging this MA, not kind of floating. So that's talking to me as well. We had this nice fake print coming up to the 118.80. So until we get above this high and go to 120, I just don't believe it. Again, 13 million on the Qs, just nothing. It's almost. It's weird to me, other than people are going back to school, Wall Street's kind of on vacation right now, there's a couple of other things, but there's just no pattern right now other than if you're not short in the Qs, I would start to short. If it gets above the 118 or so, 118, 119, I would add more, and then I would hold it. Stop out would be up to you, but I would think maybe 122, 123 up into that area. Maybe think about stopping out. But you got to always look at each and every day is a new piece of the puzzle and to determine which way this thing's going. Again, I want to see this thing continue up, and it's having a little bit of hard time at this candle and this retrace off this topping tail here. Weekly chart, same thing. We closed above the all-time high. I want to see on a weekly basis, I want to see a close above 1880, and then I'll think this thing's going up a little higher. Again, volume drying up, moving up on nothing. Not good. Monthly chart, same thing. We're above the high. Let's see at the end of the month if we can close above the 115.90 area. So right now, it's 50-50. I'm thinking we're pulling back, coming up in the next week or two. So I would get short at this time. Let's look at the IWM. Now, I've been talking about these charts every day for the last 6-7 days. That we had bullish consolidation, tried breaking out, had a nice reversal, bounced off the 20 MA, bounced up, got a little more conviction on this candle with the jobs report, but just can't close above it. Well, we have two little tails, a nice little spinner candle here on no volume. So, it's just hard to believe that this thing can go up a little higher. And one thing I was explaining to everybody on the IWM, again, this should be a leader, and it's lagging, not at the top. Why is everything making all-time highs and the IWM lagging? Not good. IWM is usually a leader, not a lagger. Monthly chart, same thing. We're coming into this big breakdown bar at 123.43. If you're not short the IWM, short it. Use the all-time high as the stop out with confirmation and make it easy on yourself. We are short the IWM, the Qs, the SPY, the IYT, the DIA. We're short a bunch of stocks right now. We keep adding more as this thing's floating up. Again, lagging the IWM, not good. Let's get into the DIA. I really don't follow the Dow. It's 30 stocks, so it doesn't really tell me too much. But again, we're at all-time highs. We cracked above it. Well, this is the monthly. At the monthly, I want to see a close above the all-time high. Let's go to the daily. Same thing. This bullish pattern was a little bit better. I like this little bit of a wedge, but I don't like the fact that it came up and then reversed and came back down. Closed below the 20 MA. Did never confirm, but then they popped it above. Again, I want to confirm above the all-time high period. Let's go to the weekly. The weekly, we need to close on the weekly basis above the all-time high, which is 186.08. Then possibly this can move up a little bit more. Again, we're moving up on no volume. It drives me nuts. But the DIA, I really don't follow. I'm just showing the chart just to give you my thoughts on it. Let's go to the IYT. The IYT is another one that should be leading these markets, and it's not. So nice move up, bullish pattern. We have a little inside bar pattern, bearish, so it did play out. Got below the MAs. They popped it right back up. Can't get above the 20 MA. Until it gets above this 20 and confirms, then I'll think a little more upside into this area, 143, 144. But right now, it's looking weak. Let's go to the weekly. Again, this should be a leader. It's lagging. Look at we're well 25 points off the high, and we got the Dow, the Qs, and the SPY making new all-time highs. This has to lead with the IWM. If it doesn't, not good for the markets. Monthly chart, same thing. But this was interesting. We popped up. We had an inside bar, never closed below the 618, got above the MAs, and now we're starting to head down. If we close below the 618 at 138.24, we're going down. And I think we're going to go into this trend line. So maybe around 130, looking at this one right around 133. But, you know, again, this is the weekly, so we're waiting for the close to see where this thing closes. Monthly, same thing. Actually, this is a little bit bullish pattern, inside bar. But overall, we're still in the big inside bar below the MA, 20 MA, and it's curling into price. Let's see if this thing can push it down. Big trend line right here. It goes all the way back. That's the line in the sand. We get below this thing and it confirms, we're heading right back down to double bottom, which is 114. And I think we could get to the 618. But again, we got to take it day by day, see what the daily chart brings us. Right now, we had a little, we had a nice little reversal coming in, but we still need to see it closing below this, fill the gap, and get below the MAs and see from there. So right now I'm a little bit more bearish on the markets. Light volume can't even push it up. We got the IYT and the IWM lagging, which is not good. So that's what I'm really following at this point. But for now, thanks again for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. John at stockbookie.com. God bless. See you on the charts.